시작. 자, 나 잠깐 소원 빌게. 좋았어. 늦네. 오케이. 이렇게 볼게. 고마워.
Alrighty. Come back. We're gonna do a little update on Maiden, which, hey, because that's another thing I talked about. Okay. So, the baseball club invited them, which kind of little sus issues now that they know. So, what is wrong? This is the press con. This is after the press conference, which I did go over. And continuation of the thread, and you follow them for, 4 more updates. Okay, full timeline. On April 29th, Gan's mom, alongside members of the Hanbit Center and former 143 Entertainment employee, Hey Yu Jong, held a press conference to talk about Gan's case and their experience with 143's CEO. Her mother gave heartfelt testimony alleging that Lee Young-hak would create discord among members, communication between the members, and the family were blocked. That he'd engaging in light physical content that got worse after graduation. According to Mom again, wanted to keep along with Maiden, and she left the bands, although Lee Young-hak gave her an apology. The written one actually messed him up because the written one proves it's you. So, he shot himself in the foot with that one. But nonetheless, agreed to step back from the group, however he interfered in their activities, continuing. Former AR and 143 Hee Yo-jung, who has stated that she personally recruited some members, including gay, and spoke out against the company in support of her. She alleged that the CEO would have favored trainees, even dating back to his YGJs, which used to create discord with them. In a previous statement, the former employee alleged that their wages would go up unpaid while Leo Young-hak would buy female trainees expensive gifts, despite the claims that game caused issues among the group. Hyo stated that she would try mediate arguments between the members. Yoo-jung also alleged the verbal harassment and mastered content harassment began when Gan was still a minor and escalated further after she left high school. She also said that there was multiple victims and the behavior dates back years. 143 released a statement to the press after the conference. However, they never publicly posted it on any of their channels. The statement claims that all the others' side are after his money, and that the claims differ from facts. 143 have released nothing despite these claims. After the press conference, he usually went on a radio show to speak further on the claims made by the mother and 143, which we actually live streamed that actual one. Now onto the group. On the same day at the press con, Maiden held a Japanese showcase with 5 members. As Shuhei was on an unexplained health hiatus, further concerns were raised about the members' health, and they announced their Japanese debut September 2025. Yeah, that's what's on 5 members, and this is the announcement. The famous artists, I wonder who the artist is, but nonetheless, at the showcase, Maiden performed Limelight songs with only 1/3 of Limelight members present, which was only one out of 3. They brought photo cards and pickets for pictures to represent Michiru and Suhei while they were absent, seemingly being allowed to mention them, unlike Dan. which means they're not getting kicked out yet. On the 8th of May, it was announced by the company that Shuhei would not be participating in any schedule during May due to health reasons. This update left fans fearing the worst due to their previous actions. MADEIN was announced for 3 different university festivals: Dankook University on the 7th of May, Hongik University on the 15th of May, and Sunggang University on the 15th of May. Having 2 festivals performance on the same day is ridiculous, honestly. The university were blocking fans on Instagram who expressed concerns over the group's attendance of the festival, considering the subject of the ongoing lawsuit against one for that either fear or just didn't want to do anything. Yeah, okay. MADEIN had schedules in Japan on HMV and Tower Records from the 10th to the 14th, leaving a very tight turnaround for them to return to Korea for their 2 university performance video. Below for Jungkook, Ishiro posted a message on Plus Chat stating that she was afraid after fans followed her home. Bizonet, MADEIN's Japanese label, posted a message reminding fans how to behave at events and in private. Person followed Ishiro has been harassing Limelight since debut. Shuhu's number and Kakutalk were up for sale on an X account alongside members as Kepler and Weekly. Today on 14th of May, which that was yesterday, the company announced that Shuhei was on a indefinite hiatus for personal reasons that made it wouldn't be continuing as a 5 for the unforeseeable future. This means that there is a chance MADEIN will make their debut in Japan as a 5-member group. That is, and that's the announcement. Okay, that's everything that's happened in the last few weeks. And anything as an extra note, look, Shuhei, and that's that. Oh, that's interesting. Of course they would, because they've been basically have done nothing for the last few years. Alright, that's that. And alright, now it's time for Johnny Somali is now facing 31 after a new charge. Let's see what has happened.
This is hot off the presses as of today, Korea time. So this is a fresh update. First update, procedural. We now have, there's multiple updates here, but first I'm going to give you the procedure. His lawyer from the Eastern District has now officially registered in the Western District. So he talked a lot about this private attorney in the Eastern District. He is now registered officially in the Western District. It is unclear how the defense is going to split work, as Ramsey now officially has a public defender and a private lawyer. So he's got both a public defender that was originally covering his his Western District case, and a private lawyer, which was on the East, which is now registered in the West. So we're going to talk about this lawyer. So we actually predicted who this lawyer was. We had a leak. Ramsey gave a leak about who this lawyer was. We now know officially the lawyer is Choi Gwang-ho, or Gwang-ho Choi. Choi is his family name. So that is the lawyer that has registered. He is a tax attorney. He has not been inside a criminal courtroom in 20 years. Let me say that one more time. He has not been inside a criminal courtroom in 20 years. He is a tax attorney.
That's not a good sign.
So what probably happened, and this is something that we said, was this is probably a friend of Hanky Poo's family who got put on this case. And just so you guys see, I am not making this thing up. Here's over here his blog. You can look this up, and this is also in Korean. So if you want to check it out, this is the original Korean version. I'm just translating this over here, right? So he graduated from Sungkyun Kwan University in 1991, passed the bar in 1998. He joined the Songpa law firm, which is where he is, in 2001. So he did start as a public defender. He did that for 4 years, but then he switched to tax litigation. So he has not done anything involving criminal stuff since 2005. Some of you are not even that old in the chat right now. He also runs a karaoke bar. Well, maybe that's how they found him. But anyways, so the point of the matter is that is the new lawyer. Now, once again, this is not some sort of big shot Johnny Cochran of Korea, right? This is not some sort of super expensive lawyer. This is not some sort of, mega hitter. This is a tax attorney who seems to be handling this based on connections, presumptively to Hank's family. That's a presumption. That's what a lot of good speculation has been made. But beyond that, Hank paid the bill for this. Obviously, Johnny has no money, so Hank Han Jong-yu paid the legal fees for this attorney. So this has been scrapped together by Hank one way or another. And that is how he's now registering. And this is going to be pretty expensive because remember, they got to pay him for all that time and all those hearings. And there's going to be a lot of hearings with the Somali case. So that's going to be a pretty big one. So let's get over here and give you the rest of the presentation. So let's talk about the new crime, shall we? So here is what we have. Brand new as of today. We have today, May 8th, 2025, Ramzi Khalid Ismail has been officially charged with a second count. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, not one, but 2 counts of the violation of the Special Act on Crimes for the distribution of false video deepfakes. This effectively doubles his maximum possible criminal penalty for deepfakes. There are now 2 charges. Each charge has a max of 10.5 years. Thus, the max penalty now he faces is 21 years in prison just for deepfakes. And then, because we have other charges, remember, we've got other charges, that's another 10 years stacked on. So he's looking at up to 31 years. That's the maximum amount now.
So he could get I think before it was already, that's the max amount sent years is 31. So but also if there's more charges going on, he could get more than 31 years.
31 years in Korean prison is the new maximum that the court can assign him. Let's talk about this new charge. So let's talk about this deepfake. Okay. So with the deepfakes, we now have 2. What does this mean? This means that we have one from the female victim, which is presumptively Bong Bong IRL. And we have a second charge, which is probably from the Korean streamers, right? Bang TV, who I interviewed. You've got Youngman. You've got Dalgun, who I interviewed. And by the way, Dalgun, who had all of his fines paid for the punch by Donut Operator and by donations from kind people like you guys. So Dalgun, he had a deep fake of him. So did Bang TV. So did Youngman. So all those guys pressed charges against him. So those deep fake charges were pending against him. So all of those charges are coming against him, and they're separate. And what that means is that he can get hit with double the penalties. And even if there was a settlement, a quote unquote settlement with Bong Bong, which is, remember, his whole big legal talk, his whole big legal strategy was, we're going to settle with Bong Bong. We're going to settle with the female victim. We're going to pressure her. And they wanted to threaten her because she showed the image on her stream as well. But she showed it to show how mad she was about it, being like, this is wrong, right? So he tried to blackmail the victim. And not only did that fail, it literally backfired in his face. When
it probably did more damage than just not even trying to blackmail her.
He tried to blackmail the female victim, the prosecutor probably saw this and said, oh, hell no, we're going to double down and give you another one. And by the way, there will be no settlement on that one because it's with the Korean YouTubers that you are literally attacking and threatening with defamation. Remember, guys, Hank and Johnny have been threatening to sue the Korean YouTubers and myself, by the way, threatening to sue me with defamation in Korea. Do you think that people that you threatened to sue, and you are suing, you literally said you're suing them, you were threatening Daegun, you're threatening other people, do you think they're going to come to some settlement with you? By the way, that doesn't even really work in Korean court. Even if they were to say, oh yeah, we agree, they still, the prosecutor could still bring it. Their whole big brain legal strategy just got nuked from orbit. It got absolutely destroyed. And remember, Johnny said, if I get charged with deepfakes, I'm fighting this out. Let's fight this out, Ramsey. Let's fight this out. Also, someone says RKI. What is RKI? RKI stands for Ramsey Khalid Ismail. That is Johnny Somali's name, is Ramsey Khalid Ismail. RKI. RKI. So this absolutely, to me, and I just was laughing about this, it completely nukes this guy. In terms of all of that strategy he talked about, that's all wiped the floor with. So he's going to have his lawyers, his two lawyers, which, by the way, weren't talking to each other. They didn't even know about the other charges. So now they've got to figure this out somehow together, or maybe apart. I don't know. Maybe the public defender has to go now that he has a private attorney. Who knows? And so it opens up an entire new world with massive amounts of problems. All right, let's get to the charges in total. So here we have, also the process. So guys, I am going to show you everything that is at step 4. Okay. I am showing you everything at step 4. That's trial. There are things he is still being investigated for at step 3. This is the Korean criminal process. I've shown this chart many, many times, but just so you guys know, there are more crimes under investigation. Remember, there's stuff like his threats against the streamer Nana. Remember that? The harassment of Nana. There's also stuff like the Lotte World stuff that it can be reopened and can be brought as well. There's also stuff that is coming down the pike. So we can have more charges, but what I'm talking about is stuff at step 4. Okay.
So, step 4 is trial, which honestly, this is before we used to be just here. So it's gone faster than most normal Korean jails, from what I understand.
This is everything. This is the master list. This is the factual list. If any clippers need to get factual information, this is what the facts are. This is 100% accurate. Okay? The 6 charges. First, we had obstruction of business. That was for the 7-Eleven ramen, for throwing ramen at 7-Eleven. That was brought against him in 2024 in November. And it started, this was the first crime in the Western District. He pled guilty to that crime. So he is already guilty of number 1. Number 2, we had violation of the Minor Crimes Act. This is for carrying around the fish, for harassing people.
And Lotte World.
Causing them anxiety, chasing them down. That was merged in on the 4th of December of 2024. He has pled guilty to that. On the 3rd charge, the violation of the Minor Crimes Act, this was for disruption on the bus and in the subway. This was merged in right before his trial date in February. February 11th, it was merged in. He has pled guilty to that. So 1, 2, and 3, guilty. Here we go. 4. This is a new charge that he was merged in right before his case that I attended. This was right before the one that I went to and Atozi went to. This is a second claim, number 4, of obstruction of business. We do not know exactly what that is for. Our speculation is it is Lotte World. We have not confirmed that. We don't know 100%, but that is our educated guess.
Which would actually make a lot of sense, considering what he did at Lotte World was nothing short of nasty and disgusting.
That was merged in right before the trial on the 4th of March. Now we had the first deepfake, number 5. That was merged in on the 27th. And because of that, His trial date last month in April was pushed to May. So because of that charge number 5, his trial was pushed from April to May. So now we have again another deepfake coming in for right before the trial on the 8th of May. So guys, look at the pattern here. Look at the pattern of these mergers. On the 8th of May, 27th of March, 4th of March, 11th. What are they doing? It doesn't take a genius to see a pattern here. They are spreading out the charges and they are inflicting as much procedural pain on Johnny Somali as they absolutely can. They are pushing his trial and making him delay, because by doing it 1 week before, the lawyers will panic. Johnny will panic. They won't have time to review the charges. So what are they going to do? They're going to push it down the line. They're going to keep pushing it.
So he starts panicking and just pressures Johnny.
And all of a sudden, he's been trapped in Korea for a year, maybe a year and a half. We can go 2 years, maybe even, guys. We're going to talk about what will happen here. So they are making this as painful as possible on this guy. And by the way, it is all because he is he's pushing things and digging himself deeper and deeper while he's still in Korea, streaming, mocking the system, mocking Koreans, attacking people, harassing people. You're seeing a pattern here. Now, by the way, for the deepfakes, once again, for number 5, right? So this is number 5, the first deepfake. We believe that was the deepfake of Bong Bong IRL, the female streamer who he was making out with in a deepfake. Making out is a crime. It is a act, right? To depict someone making out, right? It's considered an intimate act. We also have similar videos, similar deepfake video of Dalgoon, of Bang TV, of Jungman, of other folks. And that would be number 6. So that's what I speculate those are. We don't know. There could be other deepfakes because remember, they were in his Discord.
Oh,
they
yes.
got information from his Discord. So there may be other stuff ripped from his Discord or submitted by people from his Discord, right? Who may be snaking him even to this day, right? And that may be used against him as a deepfake. We don't know yet. We don't know 100%. We're only going to find out 100% at the next trial. So this is the accurate list. Now let's talk about, people want to know what are the penalties. So obstruction of business, that's maximum penalty. Once again, there's no minimums in Korea. There's no minimum punishment. So obstruction of business is maximum of 5. Violation of the Minors Crime Act, that's going to be a fine. Same thing with the second one. So those are going to be fines. Obstruction of business, that's up to 5 years again. So now we're up to 10, right? 2 obstruction of business, up to 10. Then we've got deepfakes, 10.5 for the first, 10.5 for the second is the maximum. So put those all together, 10.5 put 10.5, that's 21. I'm a lawyer. I don't math so good, but that's 21 years. 5 for obstruction and 5 for the obstruction. That's 31. That is 30, up to a maximum of 31. The Korean court, because I know I get this question every single time, when they issue a amount of time in prison, they issue it all together. So they take everything together and they give one number. They don't say 5 years for this. We issue 1 year, 5 year, 3. They issue it all together. So they say we sentence him to X amount in jail, and they're going to give a sum. So they're not going to say we sentence him to 3 and 2 and 1 and 5, and there's no concurrent or consecutive. There's no argument about that. It's just 1. So they say, hey, we're going to give you a year, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, right? That is how they are going to do that.
Honestly, that makes it much easier just to do it all in one spread. Yes. So, let me go to this one.
Johnny Somali, or Ramzi Khalid Ismail, has lost a lawyer and gained a very, very angry victim who is out for maximum punishment. Today, we're going to go over some big developments which are coming out literally the day after we had new charges in the case of Ramzi Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali, in Seoul, South Korea. This is also one of what I'm going to call the Fast Facts series. I know a lot of you want to get this information quick, you want to get it compact, and you don't always have time to watch my streams. So before all of my streams, I'm going to try going forward to do a very compacted version of it that is much more short, and will try to come out after the end of my live stream. So if I'm going to still do live streams, still enjoy the interaction, the crowds, the questions, the fun, the memes, the banter, but trying to get you guys condensed information, especially in the case of Ramzi Khalid Ismail, because there is a lot of inaccurate information. And as a quick update, we're going to go over my PowerPoint, which has been updated a bit since yesterday on some of the changes and some of the new things, and give you guys a refresher in case you don't know. Of course, one of the important facts is we have his next trial date, which is as of today, as of right now, still scheduled for the 16th of May. It has not been changed, but we will get to whether or not that's changed a little bit later on. So the first thing is I obviously went over yesterday a procedural update. The lawyer from the Eastern District, that is the private lawyer, officially registered in the Western District. And today we have a change. So yesterday we weren't sure how the representation was going to go. We weren't sure who was going to be representing him on certain charges, what was going to be the split of work. Well, today, just today, we had.
What if when uncertainty is high, heck, when chaos is high,
the public defender step down? Now, that is likely they were actually removed from the case. That means they weren't the ones who petitioned it. It was the court that did it, probably because he no longer qualifies for a public defender. When you have a private attorney, that typically disqualifies you from having a public defender. So it appears that he was disqualified from that. So now this attorney, this private attorney, will be handling everything. We talked about it today. Yesterday, his name is Gwang Ho Choi, or Choi Gwang Ho, depending on, once again, if you say it the Korean way or you kind of westernize the name and mix up the surname and family name. But that's his sole lawyer of the Songpa Joint Law Firm, or it's also been quoted as Songpa Law Firm, but I believe it's Songpa Joint Law Firm. We did some research on his background. Now, I am going to give a little bit of a clarification, to be honest. On my channel, I believe in intellectual honesty, and I also believe in clarifying any mistakes or misstatements that are made. And I did make a misstatement yesterday. Now, doing further research into his record, we still are consistent and still are correct that he is primarily a tax litigator. So tax litigation is a thing he primarily does. Now, yesterday, I said he hasn't seen the inside of a criminal courtroom in over 20 years. I'm issuing a correction that I'm not sure whether or not that's true. It is possible he has. It's possible he hasn't. We were unable to find anything specific, although he did have listed pro bono practice, which seems to be pro bono, meaning free representation of clients. Typically, lawyers such as myself, even in America, can do pro bono work as part of our requirements for our local lawyers associations, our bar associations. We can do work for the poor, for the underprivileged, the underserved. I did a lot of pro bono work when I was in Florida as an attorney. But it appears he does pro bono work. He does work for kind of small businesses and others that are fighting their taxes. We were only able to find, though, 5 civil cases. So he did go to court at least 5 times, a minimum 5 times, to civil court. Now, understand there is a difference between civil and criminal. So that's there. And we did find in all of those cases that he lost. Now, that doesn't mean he's a bad attorney necessarily. You can have bad clients. You can have clients that aren't necessarily good. But we did find he went to civil court. So he has gone to a court at least at some point. So I want to clarify that and be fair on that one. But that's now his sole attorney going forward, as the public defender has stepped down. We're going to talk about his strategy as we go on. Now, we did mention this new charge for Ramzi Khalid Ismail. Mentioned that yesterday for the next deepfake. We are pretty sure that now we have 2 deepfakes, and at least one of them is Bong Bong, and the other one probably Dalgoon or one of the other Korean YouTubers, maybe Bang TV, maybe Youngman, and it could actually be all of them, because the way these deepfake charges can go through, they can be for a collection, they can be for multiple. So that might be an amalgam of charges for the 5th charge and 6th charge. We will find out on the 16th exactly what each charge is for on that trial date, presuming it's not moved. Now, once again, this doubles his penalty. So his penalty just for the deepfakes is 21 years now. So 10.5 on both is the max. And that brings him to a total with 5 years each for his 2 obstruction charges. So 5 plus 5 plus 10.5 plus 10.5 brings us to 31 total years in prison as a maximum. There is no minimum. So once again, the range is now 0 to 31 as of yesterday. Now, obviously, one thing I want to point out, we are at step 4 on the criminal process here for most of these things. These are all things that are brought before the court, but we do have other charges. I can confirm there are things that are being investigated that are still at step 2 and step 3 that may come very soon and may hit him next month or the month after. He may have a series of charges that is coming in the future. It is not necessarily done for charges until everything is settled out, and that's going to be a while. Just as a refresher, once again, his current charges, these are his current charges. He has 2 obstruction of business. Charge number 1, charge number 4 are for obstruction of business. Each of those carries a 5-year penalty, so that's 10 years, 5 and 5, so 10. We've got violation of the Minor Offenses Act for, of course, harassing people with a stinky fish and for making a scene and causing severe disruption on the bus and on the metro. That is a violation of the Minor Crimes Act. One obstruction, by the way, is for 7-Eleven. The other one probably for Lotte World. Probably. We will find out on the 16th.
Yeah, the Lotte World's kind of nasty.
And then, of course, we have the 2 deepfakes, which is violation of the Special Act on the Punishment of Sexual Crimes. So here is a bombshell we have today. We have a victim stepping up. This is massive. So a victim with the surname Kim. Now, there's a very common last name in South Korea. In case you don't know, Kim is a very common name. They officially registered a lawyer with the court. Now, this could be Bong Bong, who does have the surname Kim, but we're not sure. It could be another victim. We don't know. It could be anybody who was harassed by Johnny or Ramsey Khalid Ismail, Johnny Somali. Anyone harassed by him could step up. And there were so many people, it's hard to tell. I'm sure there were multiple people with the last name, the surname Kim, that were harassed by Johnny Somali. So my speculation is this is the probability is Bong Bong, but we'll see on the 16th. We will find out exactly who this is and what charge they're interested in to speak on. This is uncommon. Now, it's not what I would say something that never happens. It's just very rare, especially in the trial of a foreigner, for a victim to feel so compelled to obtain a lawyer. That means they feel seriously bothered about this, and they will be looking to get a maximum punishment. This is something that you would only do if you felt you wanted the maximum punishment. You wouldn't necessarily pay money for a lawyer to go to court and to press your claim to give you an opportunity to speak.
This shows how massive this is, that someone's willing to step up, and the fact that this is rare in South Korea just shows how serious they're taking this.
And the prosecution will almost certainly give them an opportunity to speak. What does this mean? This means more delay. There's going to be an entire trial date. Remember, these things are pushed out month by month. So this will give an entire month extra at a minimum to the length of the trial. We were already looking at a trial that is going to go into the fall of this year. This is certainly going to push it. Once again, we're looking closer and closer to this thing potentially going into 2026 before it's fully adjudicated, depending on the strategy of Ramsey Khalid Ismail and his lawyer. Also, this is a severe aggravating factor. We talk about things like being apologetic, being respectful, being courteous, being civil, behaving, none of which Ramsey is doing. Ramsey Khalid Ismail has done nothing.
He has none of that.
But being aggressive. He's done nothing but attack. He's done nothing but curse people out. He's slandered people. He's attacked the court. He's threatened to attack people like myself who are attending with HIV needles. He's done crazy things, none of which is to sincerely apologize to the court or the people he's offended or threatened or etc. This is severely aggravating, which means in the court, there are things called mitigating factors and aggravating factors. An apology is what you call a mitigating factor, which might make your punishment lighter. That might make your punishment less severe. So maybe instead of jail time, they would just give you a fine because they think you're very, very sorry and they would mitigate it. However, an aggravating factor is something that would make it worse. So maybe they would say, well, it's all, he has 6 crimes, but it's his first offense. So, we're going to give him, just a minimum amount of jail time or maybe even none and give him a big fine and get him out of here. But when you have a victim, you're looking at them pushing for real jail time, real time behind bars. And this is something you're going to see here that certainly they would push for. So we're looking at a victim that is going to be pretty dedicated to getting Johnny to doing some severe time under this statute, which once again is something we've been looking forward to because we've been wanting more and more of a strong case for him to be punished to the max. Now, I want to say one last thing. I talked yesterday about whether or not the May 16 trial will be delayed. I actually think, based on the information that we have about the lawyer, the public defender stepping down, and the new guy stepping up, I think the new guy seems pretty confident when in his previous stuff. He seems pretty gung-ho. He seems to, want to do this as quickly as possible. I think because it's this new attorney, I think he may be pushing things faster. So my money has flipped. Yesterday, I was 60-40, 60% delay, 40% no delay. Today, I've gone the other way. I am 60-40 that it will not be delayed and that it will proceed. So my money is now on no delay and this date going forward and them being in court on May 16th. That is what
I think they want to get this done with as fast as possible, but effective as possible.
what I'm thinking at this point. If Johnny was to delay this, we are actually looking at a scenario where 2026 for sentencing is very realistic. So I think this kid is already losing it. He's already crashing out. He's already breaking down. I'm not sure he could even last that long to go into 2026. So I think they may push this forward. I think they may try to get this done. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think Johnny is crashing out? Let me know in the comments below.
Yes.
Make sure you hit the like button, and I will catch you all on the next.
All right. Yes, he's crashing out.
Dizzy coffee time.
Okay.
Johnny Somali is now engaging in clear victim intimidation in his case, in the case of Ramzi Khalid Ismail in Seoul, South Korea. This is, of course, the Legal Mindset, where we teach you to be your own judge. And this is the second video in my Fast Facts series, bringing you abbreviated versions of my live stream with that information coming out right after the live. If you do enjoy these, if you have liked this new development on my channel, please make sure you hit the like button and leave a comment below to let me know you like the Fast Facts. So what do we have here today? Well, of course, I have a PowerPoint updating you guys, as always. Today, this is the 10th of May, 6 days until his scheduled trial. And just for those people that might be confused at home, I do these PowerPoints often. I date them as of the date of the update. So if you go back, you can look at my updates over time and kind of track them as things change. But the trial date, just to be clear, is still May 16th, 2025, as of the date and time of this broadcast, of this video. It is still May 16th, 2025, at 10 a.m. in the Western District Courthouse in Mapo, that is a Mapo district, in Seoul, South Korea, in room 406. So if you're there, feel free to attend and say hi to Ramzi and Hanky Poo. Now, they may or may...
Hey, if you're Korean and you're going there, tell them you said hi.
may not be delayed. Of course, you will hear it first on this channel. If there's any delay to that, once again, we've talked about in other channels. That's a legal strategy, whether to delay or not, and we will see if that happens. Stay tuned for any updates there. But our main update today is about this intimidation, and this is because Somali is panicking, particularly after the last two drops of information I have had, particularly on the new charge, the new deepfake charge, which has come out. As well as yesterday, we had a big bomb about a victim, which is stepped up, a victim with the last name Kim, that is stepped up in the case, that has hired a lawyer, that is registered with the court, and they have requested all of the documents, the full record. So after all of this has come out, there is absolute panic in the Somali camp. There's panic in the community. And what's been going down in the last 48 hours is a massive increase in threats, attacks, doxing, and harassment. Now, as you guys know on my channel, I do not give any airtime to that or attention to that specifically because it incentivizes that behavior. But however, I can tell you it exists. I have seen it. These are attacks against many people, people involved in the case. We're going to talk about the witness intimidation, victim intimidation, also attacks against myself, threats against myself, stuff I've seen directed to me directly, indirectly, people doing all sorts of crazy shenanigans behind the scenes. And that's gone wild. And whenever that happens, I know it is entirely because they are panicking, they are scared, and they know that we are right over the target and we have them back into the corner. And the reason,
I mean, whenever someone's cornered and there's no other option, they get scared and become dangerous and do something reckless. Hence in point.
why they are doing this is because of this new charge, this deepfake charge, the second deepfake charge, which has come in, and they are focusing almost the majority. I mean, at this point, they're focusing, on many people, but one of the people they are really focusing on is Bong Bong IRL. Because one of those deepfakes is, of course, likely of Bong Bong IRL. In case you don't know who she is, this is a picture, of her. And this is one of the pictures that was used to generate the deepfake. So it's not the deepfake itself. It's a picture that was used to generate the deepfake, but she's on the left here. And then you have Johnny on the right here. This was way back in the beginning of the saga. Now, Bong Bong really,
that's the original.
seems to not have really known intimately who Johnny Somali was at that point. And subsequently, after he created a deep fake of her, engaged in making out, kissing, and telling the world that Johnny Somali was dating her. So Johnny Somali was saying, "This is my girlfriend. I have a Korean girlfriend." And that caused extreme embarrassment. Not only putting out sexual images, making out, engaging, excuse me. Oh, gotta get some water here. Man, it's rough when I do it live. But not only engaging in acts that are sexual under the Korean criminal code, but also putting out there that you're somebody's romantic partner. As you can imagine, that is extremely embarrassing, and that is something that if you created a deepfake would be something you would be embarrassed by. And part of the statute, the criminal statute, is indeed the hurt to that person and causing that anxiety, damaging their reputation. And listen, anybody who is said to be dating Johnny Somali is said to be romantically interested in possibly the most hated person in East Asia, if not the world, in terms of IRL streamers. Yeah, that would damage your reputation. Being known and affiliated with Johnny Somali is absolutely damaging to your reputation. And Bong Bong knew this, and indeed, she actually posted here, and I'll show you, the main post here. This was in Korean. This was months ago, but she stated that she was going to go to the police, and here's, of course, the translated version, where she said, "I just got off the phone with police. The police have checked the news and confirmed the deepfake was real." So meaning there was indeed a deepfake of her and Johnny, and they would proceed as quickly as possible. So this is something that she reported to police.
She also said the reason the video was taken down, I'm tired. More annoying than Johnny Somali, it's deepfake, is the comments criticize people's appearance without even knowing it. No matter what kind of branding or video you upload, it seems you can't avoid criticism.
Possible. So this is something that she reported to police and she pushed. And because...
All right, Gabby from Vegas, let's go ahead. orders. So your brownie batter went back in stock today.
Because of that, Johnny Somali threatened her a month or two ago if she was going to take this seriously and not, quote unquote, drop the case. And I've shown this video before, but it means to be shown again because Johnny Somali has had he is very vengeful and very aggressive. And he threatened her even months ago if she proceeded with this, with an action in the deepfake. Let me show you guys this video. Once again, this is video from, I believe, about 2 months ago, perhaps. And this is pretty direct threat. Let me just play this.
I'll tell y'all this, bro. Guess who's fucking getting charged too? Like, I can drop really knowledge on you niggas, bro. That stupid bitch Bong Bong. She showed that.
Once again, calling her a slur, calling her a stupid bee. That is not going to look good. Once again, she is a victim and a potential witness, a likely witness in this, especially now that we have both deepfakes. So this is months ago, but let's continue.
Image as well on her stream, right?
Wait, Johnny, I thought that was your girlfriend. What you doing, my guy? Which is it?
So guess who went to the police station, nigga? I put charges on Bong Bong ass. Bong Bong getting charged too, nigga. Like, I'm not playing with these niggas. I went to the court. I'll put charges on Bong Bong ass, the fat nigga ass, young man, the fat Snorlax nigga. That nigga got charges, bro. I went to the police and said, nigga, I'm a victim. This Bong Bong bitch, she showed AI of me, nigga. You're not gonna do the nigga. I'm not going. If I'm going down, you going down, bitch. I already charged Bong Bong with the same shit, Uno reverse. And Young Man's in jail. Dude, I hate that bitch. She did the same shit to homeless, nigga. Homeless asked her, yo, can I pay you $20 for pussy? And she did the same shit to that nigga. This bitch is mentally retarded, bro. She not got, bro. I don't give a fuck. I put charges on her ass too. So
once again, threatening her with charges, threatening to come after her. That is absolutely trying to intimidate her, trying to blackmail her to take those charges off the table.
Play games to me? We can play games, bitch. Yo, bro, that bitch is in fucking Indonesia opening. Bro, how could that bitch be sexually anything? Bro, that bitch was in Indonesia the other day on Kick showing her pussy like this on the camera. What the fuck? Nigga, I'll tell the judge. This bitch is a fucking...
And also trying to sexually shame her. Once again, you know, regardless of how
we're going to shame people now?
You feel about people who, who are out there and streaming and doing whatever they're doing, trying to use, sexual shame and pressure against her to get her to stop testifying, which is one of the tactics of intimidation we're going to see from Somali and his community. Very importantly, we're going to see that very shortly.
OnlyFans, nigga, making porn is illegal in Korea. Like, doing OnlyFans is a crime. They got there's a couple.
So is having deep fakes, but you have it.
In Korea on OnlyFans, they took that bitch's bread. The government took the money to give you that shit. Nigga.
See, and this is something that Johnny and a lot of people get wrong, and they try to use as a defense, which is, okay, well, I think this person did something wrong, and therefore that gets me off. That's not an actual defense to crime. That's not how crime works or criminality works. In really any country, right? You can't point to somebody and say, well, they did it too. I use the speeding analogy. If somebody else is speeding and they're speeding more than you, and you get pulled over by a police officer who says, I'm writing you a ticket for speeding, it is not a defense for you to point to the guy who is doing 5 kilometers or, a couple miles an hour more than you and say, well, you need to give him a ticket too. No, you are still guilty of that crime. You can still be charged with that crime. So this is a fallacy. This is a logical fallacy, which is very often used by Somali and his allies. In fact, that's their top strategy, is to point the finger and say, well, they did it too. It's also very childish, and it shows the immaturity and the really philosophy of these folks in the cry bully strategy that they often employ. And once again, and this is a very important thing, even if someone does have an OnlyFans, they don't consent to public distribution of that. That's against OnlyFans TOS, and that would be against the consent that was given, right? The consent was given between a client, an individual, and the creator, an individual. And the expectation of privacy would be that would not be shared beyond that, and you do not have permission to share it beyond that, particularly in the context of wide public dissemination to intimidate a witness. That would never be okay. Presumptively never be okay. But let's finish this up.
I'll go rat, nigga. I'll go really rat. That bitch is retarded, bro. She got bullied into reporting me for that shit. How can you charge someone for a deep fake when you put it on your own stream too, this is what fucked these niggas over. Bong Bong put that shit on Kick. She put that shit on her YouTube herself and is laughing. Young man, the fat ass nigga, put that shit on his stream of him and Hank. She about a second. Those niggas is bro. And the police have all this.
The police have all that, but that doesn't get you off of that crime, Johnny.
That doesn't change the fact of what you did.
Doesn't get you off of what you did, and that's the mistake. But now we've got it going even further with his community stepping up and engaging in widespread harassment. And we're going to see this through his Discord messages of his community. And once again, Johnny Somali is responsible for his Discord community. Everybody can try to pretend like this is some sort of private club. It's not. First of all, there's hundreds, thousands of people in there, most of which are spying and giving information, which I get on a regular basis. But that said, there are many people in there, and they are circulating this stuff widely, and they're even circulating it outside of the Discord community. They're using it for blackmail, threats, intimidation. And you can see this, for example, from this post, once again, from inside of Somali's Discord. Johnny better leak her.
A lot of people think AI is going to take their jobs, but it could actually save yours if you know how to use it.
You know the feeling, right? Constantly switching between tabs, losing track of tasks.
OnlyFans, she needs to get the punishment too. So that, and once again, you see people, agreeing with this here. This is, very recent. Once again,
one of two people agree, but yes, a lot of people would agree with that. I mean, in his own little community, you want to call it.
Last night. And it's, people pushing for going after Bong Bong to intimidate her as a witness and as a victim. You see here, and I censored this, but they posted pornography of her for everybody to see. So they are trying to use pornography and, stuff and vile images, sexual images for intimidation. And you see here, say they still run that Bong Bong video. You should show who she really is. So trying to, once again, try to push this narrative. I still find it crazy how Bong Bong got intimidated by Koreans into pressing the charge and then fled to Thailand because of Koreans, yet that charge is still even on topic. From everything I've heard, that is a complete bullshit narrative. She felt wronged by this. She was damaged, embarrassed, and ashamed by this thing that was put out by Somali, and therefore very much could file. Once again, we've got more comments saying, bruh, Johnny's lawyer is useless. And old white kitty cat saying, why does this be, once again, using pretty vile language throughout, always go to the police after she had something with the streamer? They literally can't prosecute her because she's in Vietnam. And once again, they have false information and misinformation about where she is and what she's doing, etc. And then someone says, what do you mean she's Korean? And the one who pressed the charges, there's video evidence. So you see that going down in the Discord, people pushing for that intimidation. Now, trying to intimidate a victim or a witness is a severe aggravating factor in Korea, which does push the judge towards a harsh punishment. So that is something that is very severe. To now have somebody that is clearly going to be, based on all the factors we have, all the new charges, is clearly going to be a witness, and you are trying to hit her like this, that is really bad, and that is going to make the judge think we need some jail time. And reminder, this is after the lawyer was registered, so it comes off looking like this is something they are doing as a result, right, as a punishment for them getting involved, which is, to be honest, that is textbook witness and victim intimidation. This is textbook trying to pressure somebody, blackmail somebody, hurt somebody so they don't speak up, and they don't speak up about that wrong. So this is something I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is absolutely going to have an impact on this, and this needs to get out there. People need to talk about this because this is absolutely wrong, and this is a strategy that Somali and his community have used repeatedly to pressure people into silence and to try to get them to step down. They've tried it with me, of course. I am the honey badger. I do not give a damn. There ain't nobody or nothing that is going to stop me from reporting on this case and from putting away Somali, Ramsey, Khalid Ismail, and his nuisance streamer ilk that have zero respect for the cultures, people, or laws of foreign countries. And that's exactly why he deserves the most severe punishment they can hand down. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
The trial of Ramzi Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali, is coming up this week on May 16th, 2025. And I wanted to give you this summary, this brief video, in order to give you some facts about what is going to happen at that trial, what to expect, and kind of some of the shenanigans that we could see happening in the court today. Of course, this is the Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew, Esquire, American attorney living over here in Asia and committed to ending the plight of nuisance streamers on countries such as South Korea, Japan, Philippines, Thailand, and really anywhere in the world. People who think they can disrespect the culture, the people, the traditions, the laws, and get away with it, which absolutely describes Ramzi Khalid Ismail, or RKI, as we call him, because he absolutely came to Korea thinking he would face no consequences. But now, at this next court date, May 16th, he faces now six criminal charges, and we're going to deal with that as we talk about this today. So, of course, we still have the basic facts which have remained unchanged about the actual trial, and that is that it is going down in the same time, place, and location, which is May 16th at 10 a.m. in the Western District Courthouse in Mapo-gu in Seoul, South Korea, in room 406. So anybody who's there and wants to attend can attend and just come in. It's public. Now, the problem is there's only 16 seats. So if there's too many people, you're just not going to be let in. You're going to have to wait outside. You're going to have to, figure something out. So if you're going to go early. I have confirmed that Korean media will be there. So they will be there. Now, how many of them, we don't know. Last time there were about 4 individuals from the media, 3 from major corporations, and 1 independent media, not including myself and Atozi, who were there in attendance that March trial date, which, mind you, we had a delay already of the April date. The April date was pushed to May. So, we had 4 people there other than us. So I imagine now that this has become even bigger national news. We may see 6, 7, 8 just Korean media people in there, which is half of the courtroom seats, which is fairly crazy. But I would expect to see coverage on this on all the major networks. Now, one thing I would say is I would highly expect there to be possible antics or drama outside the courtroom. If you recall,
I think that's fair guess.
Last time, and I will play some video for you here in a second, there was a lot of drama from the suits that were oversized and kind of doing an ebony ivory matching sort of thing going on with Hank in a black suit, Johnny in a white suit, and they came in together. Of course, they weren't allowed to go up together. Johnny's a defendant, so he had to go up and leave Hank behind, which he was very sad about and visibly bothered by having to be separated physically from Johnny. But beyond that, there was encounters between Johnny and folks outside of the courtroom, which led to a lot of pushback in Korean media, especially this particular encounter in which Johnny said some crazy stuff. So I'm going to play this. This is a snippet that I showed on my
this clip.
previous stream, but I want to play it again for you guys. And this is once again Johnny walking into the March hearing. So just to be clear, Johnny there was flicking him off the entire saying, F you. She asked, do you admit the charges? And Johnny said, F you, right? F-U-B, right? And once again, I'm trying not to curse here, but Johnny is the one who's doing it.
Is there anything you want to say?
Think you need a dev team and a big budget to launch your Microsoft as a service idea? Wrong.
Do you admit the charges? Don't you want to apologize?
So
I think he also praised North Korea as well, which is kind of crazy to do.
So that was his behavior last time. I can fully
Gosh. Give me a second.
So that was his behavior last time. I can fully expect that Johnny Somali will be confronted by reporters again, people that are waiting out front, other folks that maybe wanting to ask him questions or maybe wanting to, say some kind words to him. And I can fully expect that he is going to flip out. He is going to crash out. He is going to get aggressive. I imagine that Hank, who styles himself as his bodyguard, quote unquote, his physical protection, will attempt to step up with false machismo and attempt to be a tough guy. Although, once again, Hank, Han Jung-yu, always calls the police, when there's anything and files charges against people. He's a guy who calls the cops and files charges. If even a fly lands on him, he is such a scaredy cat. But that said, I would fully expect there's going to be some sort of altercation. So I would stay tuned for that, see what's going to happen. And obviously I would expect that the media would once again confront him in front of the courthouse when he gets there with Hank together and perhaps maybe even others, who knows? So that's something I would look forward to. And then we got really into the meat of it, the substance of it. The purpose of this trial date is to plead guilty or not guilty on the charges which we have not yet addressed. So just to be clear, we have 6 charges that are against him right now. Now, mind you, in this last trial in March, he only was really aware of 1, 2, and 3. Now, 4 was technically filed just before his March court date, but he had no idea about it. In fact, the only reason he heard about it was from my live stream. My live stream was the only way he knew about it because he wasn't following his court case closely, and frankly, neither was his lawyer. So they were kind of blindsided by that, and they did not plead guilty or not guilty. They said, we need time to review it. And then he got hit with the deep fake before his April trial, right at the end of March. And this actually caused the public defender in that district to file for an extension to push this thing down to May. And now we have the new charge coming through here in May, the next deepfake, the second deepfake. And for this, actually, the other lawyer that he had in the Eastern District registered in the West, and his public defender was dismissed by the judge. We now have confirmation 100% that the public defender was removed by the judge, because if you have a paid attorney, if you have a private attorney, you are no longer qualified for a public defender. So all of these charges are really new for the lawyer that is covering his case. All of these charges are stuff that this other lawyer really hasn't thought about other than one of the deepfakes. So this new lawyer is coming in here and going to have to deal with all of this stuff. And once again, the first obstruction case was the ramen that was at 7-Eleven. That was the original charge. Then we had 2 violation of the Minor Crimes Act that were brought in, one in December and one in February. First for harassing people with a rotting fish, and the next for causing disruptions on the bus and the metro in Seoul. Then we have another obstruction of business, which was brought in March, which he has not pled to. And then we have the deepfakes, one in March and then one in May. Now, mind you, let's talk about the criminal penalties here. What are we looking at? What are we looking at for time? Well, the violation of the Minor Crimes Act, 2 and 3, those are fines. Those are primarily going to be fines. But obstruction carries up to 5 years prison time. So for number 1, you've got 5 years on the table. Now, they can also choose to give a fine. They can choose to give a fine or give prison time. Now, if this was just one charge, I would say it's highly likely he just gets a fine. However, it's 6. And he's already pled guilty to 1, 2, and 3, which makes him a convicted criminal. He is already, in the eyes of the Korean system, a convicted criminal, even if he pleads not guilty to 4, 5, and 6. So number 1 is up to 5 years. Number 4 is up to 5 years. So there we have 10. And remember, in the Korean system, they lump it all together. They take all the totals and they lump it all together. So we got 5, 10, and then these 5 and 6 are up to 10.5 years each. So that's 21 years for those two. So you have 21 plus 10, 5 and 5 equals 31 maximum. Now, we're not sure exactly how they're going to charge these last 2. They could be charged under a kind of lesser degree, which would be up to only 7 years. But even then, let's say it was 7. That's 7 and 7, 14 plus 10, 24. That's significant time in jail. And the funny thing about 5 and 6, the deepfakes, is that they carry mandatory prison time. That means there is no fine option. They can't just give him a fine. They have to give him jail time. Now, my little asterisk on.
So if that gets hit, he's going to jail no matter what, at least for that that charge.
On that, my little star is the judge could elect to issue what's called a suspended sentence, which means even if he pleads guilty, the judge could say, you know what, we're going to let you off on this. We're not going to sentence you. I'm not going to give you any jail time.
Or that's an option.
At this point, that is highly unlikely because of the fact there are 6 total charges, which shows a criminal spree. Things even which are, were happening, over time and even happening after he was already under investigation. So you see all of these things. And we also have, remember, a victim that has stepped up and said, I was harmed by this, and hired a lawyer, got the full record, and wants to testify. So we have a very committed victim that wants to seek the maximum punishment. So with all of these things, Johnny Somali has to make a calculus. What do I want to do? Now, if I'm a betting man, I think he's already pled guilty to the number 1, to obstruction of business number 1. I think he pleads guilty to number 4. And I think that he might try to fight 5 and 6. So I think the ones that he's most likely to try to plead not guilty on are 5 and 6. I think he's already pled guilty to 1 obstruction. I think he thinks that's relatively minor. I think he thinks that's a joke. So he probably will plead guilty on that one, which would make him guilty on 4 counts. And then he'd plead not guilty on the other 2, which he would have to litigate. Mind you, that would take months. There'd be witnesses, there'd be testimony, there'd be back and forth. And that would certainly, if he pleads not guilty, push things into 2026. So we would be looking at a late 2025, early 2026 at earliest if he tries to fight these and goes not guilty on 5 and 6. And that's what we're really looking for at this trial. So really, I am paying attention to what are the pleas. And remember, that's all that's going to happen today. We're not getting testimony. We're not getting anything else other than pleading on these charges. That is all it is. It's going to be a 5, 10, 15 minute, no more than 15-minute hearing. We might have some shenanigans like him wearing a hat. He's threatened to wear a Ku Klux Klan outfit to the court. That would, of course, be contempt of court and be extremely rude. Also, wearing hats, not permitted as well. He was told to take that off.
Would also be incredibly stupid.
We could also see Hank causing a commotion in the galley. Last time he was cursing at other people behind him. He was threatening them. So we could see that as well. Happening with Hank getting a little bit uppity in the stand, or rather in the peanut gallery. So we'll look forward to that, and we will keep you updated. As always, we have people in the courtroom, people that are attending on the legal mindset team, on the Somali conviction team, which you guys can support over on Ko-Fi at Ko-Fi/Andrew Esquire. And we will make sure to get you breaking news as soon as this trial is done. As always, take care.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
Alrighty. So then we'll get to the tally one last because that one's not Johnny Somali.
Not my first rodeo.
Today. And I want to make a little clarification here because this is something that a lot of people are confused by. Of course, I have a PowerPoint. I always have a PowerPoint.
The good PowerPoint.
And some people are getting confused by how I date these PowerPoints. They said, hey, your PowerPoint says 5/9 or 5/10 or 5/8, and the trial is 5/16. The cover page of my PowerPoint is the date of my update. And what that allows you to do is if you see a clip of this or you see another video, it allows you to say, oh, this is the information as of this date. Because as you know, in the Ramzi Khalid Ismail case, Johnny Somali case, information changes day to day. Information that was true on May 8th is no longer true today on May 10th. So you should be very aware and keeping up with the late.
And it's the 15th, so there could be some information in this that's no longer true.
Version, which is why I date them like this. So this is not dating the trial date, guys. Do not get distracted. The trial date is still May 16th at 10 a.m. in the Western District Courthouse in Mapo, the Mapo District. That's the district for Hongdae as well. And that's in Seoul, South Korea in room 406. So if you want to say hello to Johnny, say hello to Ramsey and Hanky Poo, I'm sure they'll be there in some weird outfits yet again. You can go there in the morning on May 16th, be early. And get in that courtroom. It's only got about 16 seats. Make sure you're there if you want to attend that trial. That is still coming up as of today. So what is happening here is Somali is panicking. Somali is absolutely 100% panicked. His community is panicked. He is panicked after the two last streams. Number one, announcing that there is a new deepfake, as well as saying there is a victim that has registered a lawyer with the court and obtained the full court record. They've gotten everything. Because of that, that has absolutely panicked Somali and has panicked the community. And behind the scenes, he is absolutely freaking out, absolutely going crazy. And that is kind of driving him wild. And because of that, over the last 48 hours, they have increased the threats, attacks, doxing, and harassment, including stuff against me. And once again, I don't give personal airtime to that. You guys know my strategy, which is foolproof and works every time, is to ignore the specificity of this stuff. And instead of getting mad at
Hey, that's when you ignore them and they'll go away. Hopefully.
that are raging on camera and stuff like that. I literally ignore everything. I don't care. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do. They can't harm me at all whatsoever in reality, right? I just completely ignore these people. But I do want to note that it exists. People tell me about it, and it's way increased over the past 72 hours, 48 hours since I've done these streams. So whenever that happens, whenever they start attacking me viciously, I know I'm doing a good job. That is my biggest confirmation that I am doing a good job, is that they are attacking me viciously. I know that when the bomber is over the target, when you are spitting facts, you are going to get absolutely the most hate. So I'm
Every
not worried
time.
about that at all. And I think that that is a sign that indeed we are doing a fantastic job. So I'm really happy with the fact that that they're coming, they're coming after me in terms of, coverage, because that means I'm doing a good job. But the problem is they're not just coming after me. They're coming after other people too. And specifically, they're coming after witnesses and victims, and one person in specific that they've really ramped it up on. Who is being intimidated?
Oh, a Colorado order? Ethan, you're officially on our favorite orders to pack list. Here's your mocha.
What's going on. So the main thing that I am seeing right now from a witness intimidation standpoint is going against, aside from myself, is going against Bong Bong IRL. In case you don't know, this is Bong Bong IRL. Now, this is not the deep fake. This is, I think, the image upon which the deep fake was based. So Johnny took an image, I think this image, and created the deep fake. So this is not the deep fake itself. This is the image that he used to create a deep fake. So Bong Bong had some interactions with Johnny Somali. I think, I haven't interviewed her or talked to her yet. I would love to, and love to get her perspective if she wants to do that. But as far as I'm aware from secondhand sources and people that have known her, talked to her, it seems that she really didn't know too much about who he was. And she was enraged because Johnny created a deepfake of her. And then beyond that, Johnny went on to tell his audience and the world that this is my girlfriend. He went all around Seoul, South Korea, without her permission, without her consent, telling everybody this was his Korean girlfriend. And that's shown in many of his videos. There's many proof of that. Look, I have a Korean girlfriend. And showing this deepfake widely in person, as well as on his stream, as well as on his Discord. These were shared out widely to thousands of people, and now millions of people have seen this. And the way the deepfake law works in Korea is it's based on the harm, the agitation, the anxiety of that person. So without a doubt, Bong Bong has a clear case against Johnny Somali for that reputational damage. Imagine the damage you would get if you...
Yeah, that caused major damage.
If somebody who is the most hated streamer in Asia, if not all of the world at this point, Johnny...
I would say world, but probably more Asia than not, but definitely the world.
Somali, if that Ramsey Cleat Ismail, of course, if this individual was going around saying this is my girlfriend and you are not their girlfriend, that is absolutely a bad reputational thing to be saying, hey, this is his person. And then he goes out and he attacks the statue and he harms Korean culture, right? So this person who is going out there and harming Korea without any shame is saying that's your boyfriend. yeah, that's going to be huge. That could finish your career. That could totally destroy you. And because of that, because of him going out and doing that, Bong Bong went and filed a report with the police. And we have that here. Now, this is originally posted in Korean. I've translated it. This is like a Google Translate. The important part is just the top here, which is I just got off the phone with police. The police checked the news and confirmed the deepfake was real, and they said they would proceed as quickly as possible. So this was posted, and that was months ago that she did that. And now we have the charge this week coming up in the court case. And that is most assuredly one of the two charges, most assuredly Bong Bong. And because of that, Johnny is freaking out and going crazy. Now, understand that Johnny has for months, and this video that I'm going to show you, this was something he posted way back long ago, back in March. He is for months has been threatening Bong Bong if she goes forward with this, and threatening to counter her if she goes forward with this. And so this is clear. This has been clear intimidation threat for months. And now we see him following through with an intimidation threat with his community this week. Let me get to this video. This was March, mind you, that he laid out his strategy to blackmail and intimidate Bong Bong IRL. Watch this.
And I'll tell y'all this, bro. Guess who's getting charged too? Like, I can drop really knowledge on you, bro. That stupid Bong Bong, she showed that image as well on her stream, right? So guess who?
Look, you're not actually going to get anything done by watching another YouTube video. In fact, you're not actually going to get anything done by watching another YouTube video. In fact, you're literally only procrastinating.
Who went to the police station, nigga, put charges on Bong Bong. Bong Bong getting charged too.
Okay, let me just also state this, and I want to be very clear for this. And first of all, note the fact he uses horrible language like calling her the B word, etc. But Johnny Somali does not pick who's charged. And as far as we know, Bong Bong hasn't been actually charged. What charge means is the prosecutor has referred this to trial. That has not happened at all from what we know. We have zero knowledge of that happening at all. What he may have done, which we don't even know if he did this, is file a criminal complaint. But here's what they can do. He can file a criminal complaint. The police can look at it and wipe their butt with it like it's toilet paper and throw it in the trash. So even if he did that, it's very likely the police laughed at him and threw it in the garbage. Remember, these are the same police that he mocks. These are the same police. He makes prank calls to the police. He pisses them off. He comes to their station in the middle of the night drunk, trying to get back his selfie stick, right? These are police that hate him, that objectively hate Johnny Somali because he is a repeated nuisance to them and to really all of Seoul and all of Korea. So what do you think they're going to do when they see Johnny Somali complaining about something? They're going to laugh at it. They're going to laugh at him and little hanky poo, Han Jong-yu, when they come and complain about stuff, and they don't have to take it seriously. It is not in their control whether or not charges are pressed. Hank and Johnny do not control that. The police control that, and the prosecutors control that, and they do not like Johnny Somali. So once again, this whole guess what's going to happen, he talks tough, but he has no idea how these things actually work. No idea.
Like, I'm not playing with these. I went to the court. I'll put charges on Bong Bong. The fat young man, the fat Snorlax got charges. Bro, I went to the police and said, I'm a victim. This Bong Bong, she showed the AI of me. You're not going to do the... I'm not going... If I'm going down, you going down.
Absolutely not. And by the way, this talk, if I go down, you go down, is intimidation. It's also childish logic. This
is kind of ridiculous as well.
This is the same logic of I'm speeding and the police catch me. I'm driving too fast. Let's say I'm driving 10 kilometers, right? 5 miles an hour or so, too fast. And the police pull you over and they give you a ticket. It is not a defense to say, look at that other car. Look at that Lamborghini. It was doing twice my speed, but you didn't pull it over. That's not a defense. You are still guilty of a crime. Saying, but somebody else did this doesn't get you out. And that's what Ramsey and his team consistently try to do. And his fanboys try to do this, the defenders, they try to say, but these other people are bad. Even if that's true, even if they are criminals, even if they're doing bad things, that doesn't get you out of what you did. And it doesn't change the facts about you or your legal position. That is not a defense to say somebody else did something bad. You still go down, regardless of whether they're punished or not, regardless of whether anything happens or not, you still go down. So this whole argument is complete garbage. It's complete bunk. I'll play.
It doesn't make any sense.
Play a little bit more, but I mean, I just want to make sure you guys are clear on that this is not something that flies. It's not something that works. Let's continue.
I already charged Bong Bong with the same Uno reverse, and Young Man.
Once again, he did not charge anything. He may
No.
have filed a complaint, maybe, but they can throw it out. And as far as I know, there hasn't been any charges criminal that have gone to trial for Youngman, Bong Bong, or anybody else regarding deepfakes.
In jail. Dude, I hate that. She did the same shit to homeless. Homeless asked her, "Yo, can I pay you $20 for?" And she did the same shit to that. It was meant to do.
Also, first of all,
in the whole history of internet marketing, it has never been this easy to get clients, but only for those who know how, like me. Because in the last
Retarded, bro.
calling her mentally retarded is defamation, so he's defaming her. And beyond that, he is trying to shame her. This is one of the tactics we're going to see that he and his community use. So, this is something that very much so is a Somali tactic to try to shame people into compliance.
She's not gonna, bro. I don't give a. I put charges on her ass too. You want to play games with me? We can play games. Yo, bro, that bitch is in fucking Indonesia opening, bro. How could that be anything, bro? That bitch was in Indonesia the other day on Kick, showing her like this on the camera. What the?
Once again, trying to shame people, trying to get people, trying to push her like that. Let's continue.
I'll tell the judge. This bitch is a fucking OnlyFans. Making porn is illegal in Korea. Like doing OnlyFans is a crime. There's a couple. It's rare that they do this, but there was.
Love how.
Do you know it's also illegal? Distributing and producing deepfakes, Johnny. So
Johnny Somali likes to think he's a lawyer now, and try to turn that around. And by the way, and let me stop that there. You can see what he's trying to do there. It's pretty clear. But once again, pointing to somebody else doesn't make it not. And also, here's the big thing, and trying to point out whether or not she has an OnlyFans and whether or not she does any sort of content like that. Even if you were to have an OnlyFans, let's say, that doesn't give you consent to widely disseminate images. The consent would be between parties, between client and customer. So the content producer and the individual. That expressly would violate the TOS of the platform and also the scope of consent. If you do not give consent to widely distribute something, it can be taken down. It's the same thing as showing pirated movies or anything else, right? You did not have permission to share that out widely to everybody. And people absolutely have permission to come after you for sharing stuff beyond that. It's not a defense. It doesn't get you out of it. And it certainly doesn't get you out of a deep fake, because that deep fake was not supposed to be put out. That was not created by her or consented to by her or anything else. And certainly it was never consented that along with that deep fake, he tell everybody that this is my girlfriend. So that scope of consent was clearly violated. Let me go here and show you what's been going on in the Discord with clear witness victim intimidation. So here it is. This is a post from his Discord, from Johnny Somali's Discord, which once again he controls. Johnny better leak her OnlyFans. She needs to get punishment too. So saying we are going to punish her by shaming her. Remember, the whole point of the deepfake law was to stop exactly this type of thing, was to stop the use of deepfakes and other information to shame and blackmail people. In Korea, there was a famous case of the Nth Room, where people would take secret video and deepfakes and use that to blackmail people into having sex.
Which we watched part 1, if some of this stuff dies down, we'll watch the second part of the Nth Room, and it's not going to get any better.
This is spot on the same type of behavior, where they are trying to use her OnlyFans to blackmail her into compliance. Absolutely nasty, dirty, low stuff from that community. And you see here, and I'm going to, once again, this is censored, but they are posting her material. And I put the censor block over it, that they are posting for the entire Discord to see. So they are trying to post this. Once again, the Discord stuff gets out to thousands of people because people are logging this, and then people that are logging this will share this out. So this is exposing this even more against her consent, without her consent. And then they're saying further here, and they still run that Bong Bong video. You should show who she really is. You should show who she really is. So trying to intimidate her, blackmail her into compliance. And then talking about how she fled to Thailand, which didn't.
Vibe coding is a trend you don't want to miss out on. So are you wondering how you can get into the action? Well,
really happen. That's kind of from what I understand, a false narrative. But that, is once again trying to come after Bong Bong. And then this conversation here, which, starts with bruh, Johnny's lawyer is useless, which is probably the only argument I can even agree with. But then starting with, why does this B word always go to the police after she had something with a streamer? So they're literally attacking her for exercising her legal rights. All she's doing is exercising her legal rights, and they're calling her names and they're going after her. And then they're saying they can't prosecute her because she's in Vietnam, which is, not necessarily true. And then saying, what do you mean she's Korean and the one who pressed charges, there's video evidence. So, which, she did indeed press charges. So going after her. Intimidation, trying to intimidate a victim, is a severe aggravating factor, which the judge can punish harshly, can punish very, very, very harshly. So the judge has a lot of leeway to indeed come after Johnny for trying to intimidate this witness, for trying to push this witness. And this is something that, to me, when I heard about this, I think this is one of the things that is going to lead to jail time. I think when you are coming after a witness, a victim, someone who is wrong, someone who will probably testify, this will push the judge towards a more severe punishment. Once again, in Korea, the max penalty is not guaranteed. It's very rare. But the more we see of this behavior, the more we see of literally a female victim of a crime being shamed, being attempted to be blackmailed, this puts us closer and closer to jail, closer and closer to a very, very severe punishment. And also remember the timing of this. This increased harassment is coming immediately after she registers a lawyer, which registered with the court yesterday and obtained the full court records. So what the Somali crew, the butt pirate team, is trying to do is they are trying to actively target person that they know is a victim. And as soon as that person speaks up, they are trying to silence them. As soon as they know that, oh my God, it's for sure Bong Bong is coming from, they try to silence her, try to hate her. And I have heard even from indirect sources that are in contact with Bong Bong that she is now facing a storm of harassment directly, and she's hearing a ton about it. So they are coming hard right now on her directly, indirectly. And that is because it seems like she wants to speak up. So he's got both a public defender that was originally covering his his Western District case, and a private lawyer, which was on the East, which is now registered in the West.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about this lawyer. So we actually predicted who this lawyer was. We had a leak. Ramsey gave a leak about who this lawyer was. We now know officially the lawyer is Choi Guang-ho. Or Guang-ho Choi. Choi is his family name. So that is the lawyer that has registered. He is a tax attorney.
I think he's going to be doing more than 31.
Attorney. He has not been inside a criminal courtroom in 20 years.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Let me say that one more time. He has not been inside a criminal courtroom in 20 years. He is a tax attorney. So what probably happened, and this is something that we said, was this is probably a friend of Hanky Poo's family who got put on this case.
And apparently his entire legal strategy for the deepfake charge has been a complete flop.
His whole big legal talk, his whole big legal strategy was, we're going to settle with Bong Bong. We're going to settle with the female victim. We're going to pressure her. And they wanted to threaten her because she showed the image on her stream as well. But she showed it to show how mad she was about it, being like, this is wrong, right? So he tried to blackmail the victim. And not only did that fail, it literally backfired in his face.
I can't believe it. I'm just kidding. I can believe this. I knew this was going to happen. Everybody, yep, that's exactly it. Smart strategy. He's a The thing is that, what do you get from a tree? Fruit.
Hello.
You're never going to get an apple. There's never going to be a pear.
No.
It's always going to be something else stupid.
When he tried to blackmail the female victim, the prosecutor probably saw this and said, oh, hell no, we're going to double down and give you another one. And by the way, there will be no settlement on that one because it's with the Korean YouTubers that you are literally attacking and threatening with defamation. Remember.
Would not advise doing that, but
Remember, guys, Hank and Johnny have been threatening to sue the Korean YouTubers and myself, by the way, threatening to sue me with defamation in Korea. Do you think that people that you threatened to sue, and you are suing, you literally said you're suing them, you were threatening Dalgoon, you're threatening some people, do you think they're going to come to some settlement with you? By the way, that doesn't even...
It's just an idiot.
Really work in Korean court. Even if they were to say,
the prosecutor is like top 10 prosecutors in all Korea and a woman.
I think it's actually like top 5.
Agree. The prosecutor could still bring it.
I mean, the issue with Johnny is most of what he says is hot air. Unfortunately for him, the judge and prosecutor might not know that because he's made a bunch of threats and he's said a lot of stupid stuff. So it's safe to say this backfires tremendously on this guy. Because let's be real, all he had to do after you got caught, even after all the mistakes in Japan and all the mistakes in Israel,
just shut up and they would have deported you. All you needed to do was shut up and not cause any more problems, and they would have said, just get the out of here.
I didn't think clean eating could ever be
maybe.
so good. We have nutritious meals that
and don't come back. That's all he had to do. And he wasn't able to do that, and now he's going to jail.
And I guess all the mistakes in Korea, once they charged him formally, all he had to do was shut up, apologize, be respectful, and he probably would have gotten left off with somewhat of a slap on the wrist. Instead, he does the polar opposite. He disrespects the judge, the prosecutor, the victims, the people covered.
Wasn't he trying to show up to the court case in the KKK outfit? But then for some reason, I think he couldn't find one, so he had to just show up with like a random, like some bullshit on.
And
he was
citizens.
drunk too.
That's not going to give you any leniency with a judge. I mean, the dude is just playing the worst cards possible as a social experiment to see how the Korean justice system will handle that. But for every day that passes, it seems like the penalty is going to be harsher and harsher. Then to make things...
He's just shooting himself in the foot.
Worse for himself. Apparently, he lost a lawyer.
Just today, we had the public defender step down. Now, that is likely, they were actually removed from the case. That means they weren't the ones who petitioned it. It was the court that did it, probably because he no longer qualifies for a public defender. When you have a private attorney, that typically disqualifies you from having a public defender. So it appears that he was disqualified from that.
So now, the case will be even more expensive for Johnny, or Hank, depending on who's footing the bill here. And Legal Mindset also issued a correction here saying the attorney has actually been to court 5 times in the last 20 years, or at least 5 times. But apparently he's lost all 5 of those cases. So John...
Okay, that's not a good sign.
Hey, guys. You got that bad luck protection building up, right? You ever played Genshin? You ever played Wuthering Waves? Honkai Star Rail, bro, he's building up that bad luck protection. He's going to get it this time for sure. He's got that pity timer coming up.
I hired a guy who's gone 0 for 5
This
over
is
the
gonna
last
be
20
it, guys.
years. And he's still acting up during his trial. I mean, by the way, Johnny is acting. You would have thought, hey, he hired some big league attorney with this big boy crypto money he has. But the reality is different. And as I stated previously,
What a
he's now
surprise.
admitting that it's not worth it anymore. He's banned on Kick. That was the platform he could actually make decent money on.
Yep.
And they're most definitely not going to take him back. And we
Why
learned
would
that
they?
from Ice Poseidon.
In the long run, do you think that is worth it?
At this point, no.
Was it
So
worth
now
it?
Johnny
Yep, there it
is permanently banned on Kick. He's also permanently banned from Patreon, apparently, and Airbnb.
You know what? I know exactly why he was banned from Airbnb.
Who would have guessed?
How many of you guys know exactly why he was banned? Why? Probably like 15 different reasons.
Permanently banned from Patreon. Permanently banned from Airbnb. I don't even know how. Somebody sent some kind of article to Airbnb. They permanently banned Airbnb.
So it's hard for him to make a living streaming. It's harder for him to collect donations.
He doesn't know where to live.
And it's hard for him to live somewhat cheap because Airbnb is a good way to live cheap when you're long-term staying abroad. So his options here are Hank's Place or expensive hotels. That's tough.
Geez.
But that was the quick Johnny Somali update. I will return home soon, so I'm not recording the next video in the West End Business Center here in Boston. And I'll be back in my studio with my microphone that everyone says looks kind of sus. But hey, it's a whole lot better than the phone.
How can
But
someone be this stupid genuinely? I think that a big reason for it is the alcohol. I think that's actually really what's going on. Because like you can see that when he's not drunk,
I mean, it's kind of true though.
he has like maybe I would say like I don't know, like maybe this is a bit high. I'd say he has like a 75 to 80 IQ, right? Which is, I mean, that's pretty good. But like once
That's
he
being
becomes
generous.
drunk, like that goes down into like the 30s, or I mean, I think sometimes even the 20s, right? Like, I mean, this is like a guy that like, you know, he's got like he's like trying to shoot himself in the foot with a rocket launcher, right?
Hopefully, the phone makes do for now. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Wow.
Drug.
Well, I mean, I'm really not surprised.
It's like a
I'm not.
landmine.
And I think that there are probably
Things
so
are down.
many people are so happy about this happening because this guy has been a piece of shit parasite for years. He's been causing problems, and it's been over a year. And finally, people are tired of it. Finally, people are done with it. I'm going to link you guys the video. It's an Atozy video. Give it a like. He's been covering Johnny Somali now for months. I think the chances of Johnny Somali sitting in a Korean jail right now, the chances are so insanely high. It is crazy. Yeah, bro, he is not coming out anytime soon. It's going to be at least 5 years, I think.
What are these?
All right, now we get to Vitaly, which is just 3 minutes.
Hey everyone, Legal Mindset here. Wanted to give you an update on the Vitaly situation because we have some new news. Of course, I'm on vacation, but you know, because that's something that Vitaly and Somali cannot do at all right now, I figured it's a good time to give a quick update, especially since there's a little bit of misinformation out there and also some new news to update people on, which I've just come into possession of today. So I can now disclose to you more information about Vitaly, some of which I've been holding on for a while, some of which I've been, keeping in the pocket, and some of which came out today. So, of course, Vitaly is still in the Philippines. He has not been deported to the U.S. or to Russia or really to anywhere pending his trial, which is expected to take 2 to 3 years to get to the trial, at which point he will be sentenced. The expectation is at least a couple years. Now, some people have said it could be up to 31 years. I don't think that's going to be the case. I, in fact, think that it'll be a smaller amount of time, a lesser amount of time. However, I think it will be a significant amount of time. I don't think it's going to be, 6 months. I think a year, 2 years, 3 years would be enough, particularly since he was pending, 2 years in jail and another year or two. I think that would be sufficient, but we'll see what he ultimately gets. So a lot of people have been talking about potentially delivering food to Vitaly, saying that they're going to bring him food, they're going to hook him up. That is absolutely not happening. I can confirm that Vitaly is not getting food runs from supporters. There are some crazy supporters out there that do indeed support Vitaly, despite all of his insanity. But he is not getting food. There's a lot of reasons for that. First of all, his aunties, his haters, could bring him tainted food. And if they just allowed any food by, well, then he could get poisoned. And, you know, of course, they're not going to be able to test the food. They can't run tests on every piece of food, every sandwich, every burger, every piece of spaghetti or Jollibee that gets brought into Vitali. So because of that, and because they can't really do anything to test that, they are absolutely not allowing food to be brought in. And that's something that is not happening right now. If it does change, or if there's some sort of circumstance that we get knowledge of, we'll let you know, but that is not happening as of date. The other thing is Vitali is having a really bad time in prison. I can now tell you that he is having reactions. He is having arrhythmias. People are speculating in the prison this may be due to withdrawal, whether that's from drugs or steroids or whatever else, but he is having severe or intense health issues, which, you know, we're going to follow up on, but they're not going to release him for that. They're taking care of that in the hospital. He's, of course, not going to die. He'll be fine, but he's not going well in jail. So it may be that he was on substances or hopped up on some sort of steroid or something else that was changing his brain chemistry and just making him enter, you know, demon time or go crazy. We're going to have to see that as it goes. But of course, I'm going to keep you posted on all updates Vitali, whether that's the court case, whether that's his health, the jail. And we're still working on to see if we can get some footage from inside the jail. If we can do that, that'd be great. I also will have an interview on Friday. I'm not sure when it'll be published, but I'll be doing it on Friday with Eric with a big media account. So we'll be giving you updates from that as it goes. Until then, guys, catch you next time.
Let me tell you why we have spent.
All right, that's that, and subscribe to Little Mindset. But that is the end of the live stream, guys. We're done. Also, anyone watching this in the rewatch, like the stream, comment your thoughts, maybe subscribe if you like the MADEIN and Johnny Vitality Asian Trouble videos. But until next week, unless something happens tomorrow or Saturday, tomorrow before Monday, MADEIN or any other, I will see you guys next week. Bye. Give me 1 second. Thing. Bust. There we go. Alright, I will see you later. Bye.
Welcome to the Blizzard Arena.
And the quest for a champion begins today.
The anticipation has been building, and it is finally time. We are live.
That is a really.
You get over the roof there?
Oh my!
Oh
my! What a play! What a grab!
Another jump here on the high ground. Super goes forward, but gets stuck up. The EMP comes in, and ding! He rains down hell from above.
Here comes Pine. Gets one, gets two. Looking for a bit more. Gets another one. Tuno down again. The Herald disaster generally for the Fusion, and Carpe wasn't far behind. Prophet! He's killed 4 players now on his own.
From Vancouver, locks him in the sound barrier. Sound bomb coming in from Jono. Oh my God! He does it again.
Flutter now moving onto the Widowmaker, taking the clutch into his own hands. The headshot after headshot after headshot.
Okay, I like this for the Gladiators. We're gonna try and circle around. I'm gonna call this the merry-go-round because it makes me laugh. Makes me happy. And Shotball switches to the Widowmaker at just the right time. Oh, the Gravy!
best jersey in the world.
You could have told me that you spoke English, honestly.
The fans never thought they'd see this day. It took 43 matches. Feels like a really emotional moment here.
Sorry.
All right. See you later. Bye.